Well, part two of my trip to Alaska. As I said before, I did not take any pictures in Fairbanks, and how that happened, I don't know. I stopped to buy gasoline, but then moved out of town about 20 miles and took these two pictures, and moved a little further down the road and got into some rain. Nenana, took a picture of the train station at Nenana and a few pictures in Anderson. There was a local bar and the Totem gift shop, Dewdrop Inn. I wish I'd have gotten a broadside of that tugboat. And bed and maybe breakfast, it says. Little ice cream shop. City Hall. And two or three local residences as I drove by. Nenana River Bridge. That was very pretty. I wish there had been more sunshine. I wish there had been some sunshine. It would have lightened things up a lot. This is Denali Rainbow Village. Everything looks like it was built last summer. Everything's brand new. And the entrance to Denali National Park. I went in there and tried to get some pictures, but there was no way. Mount McKinley was just all fogged in. Couldn't get pictures. Tried. Just generally turned around and left and headed south toward Anchorage. A lot of cloud cover, a lot of fog. Just one of those days you get in Anchorage once in a while. Or in Alaska, for that matter. Made another panorama that I liked. This is Cantwell Trading Post, 45 degrees and rain. Drove by Wasilla, didn't stop in Wasilla, just kept going. Didn't take any pictures in Anchorage. Next picture, I had Cook Inlet, and this is the highway going toward Homer. I got off the Homer Highway, got on Highway 9, and drove into Seward. I believe this is Jerome Lake. Had a picture of Portage Glacier in there somewhere too, and I forgot to mention it. And this is the road to Seward. That's Lowell Creek Falls outside of Seward. And Dougie and I walked around town and took a few pictures of the city of Seward. Got a little exercise. This is a panorama I made of the bay. And then about noon I left Seward and headed back out of town, headed toward the main highway, at which point we turned left and headed toward Homer. Here's a picture of Russian River. There's some fishermen down there, and on this picture there's one lone fisherman out there on that point, way upstream. Cook Inlet. Redoubt Volcano is back in there someplace. I don't know which one of those high peaks it is, but it's one of them. That's looking across Cook Inlet, getting closer to Homer. It's about, let's see, August the 10th, about 4:30 in the afternoon. Entering Homer, and the first thing you come to is a very nice rest stop. Beautiful flowers, beautiful scenery if they weren't washed out. There's a nice scene. There's Cook Inlet in the background. This is the rest stop. Very pretty, very well done. This is Ketchimack Bay campus of Kenya Peninsular College. A few pictures of a quiet little town of Homer, just real quiet, not much going on. Beautiful shot of the ocean at Homer. And a bookstore I went into and bought a book. And then this is driving north out of Homer. This is late in the day on August the 10th. This is the next morning, August the 11th, 7:21. Pictures of the sun coming up, hitting those mountains. On the road to Hope, actually, we're northbound. There's the highway to Hope. That's 16 miles off the main drag. And I took a few pictures on that 16-mile trip. I went into Hope, hoping to buy gasoline for the car. Found out there is no gasoline in Hope, Alaska, so keep that in mind if you ever go up there, folks. Closest gasoline was 7 miles away, but it was across about 2 or 3 miles of water, so I had to make a round trip of about 30 miles, and I didn't know if I had that much gasoline left in the car, but I decided to try it anyway. But that's ahead of myself. Here I am entering Hope at 11:30 in the morning of August the 11th, and this is this must have been Civic Center. I took a few pictures of the properties in Hope. Saw very few people until I got down to the river and found some fishermen at that little stream that I'd taken pictures of earlier. This looks like it might have been the schoolhouse. I never did stop and ask or look. I did take a picture of this doggy sitting on the front porch. He just sat there and took a long look at me, but that was about it. This guy looks like he probably was a hunter or a trapper, and he's got all kinds of stuff hanging off the eaves of his place. This must have been the local junkyard. And there's a pretty nice panorama I took of the people at the river fishing. And this is the picture of where that stream ran into Cook Inlet. Anyway, I decided to get on down the road. Finally stopped at Girdwood Station to buy gasoline, and then got into Anchorage about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, August the 11th. Anchorage is very pretty, clean. I like these stuffed animals they had on the outside. This is the historic City Hall in Anchorage. Had a lot of flower baskets in Anchorage. Terry told me to look for those. And sure enough, there they are. I did a trod trail. This is where the race begins for the big dog sled race every year. This is the actual spot in town on the city street where the race begins. I took pictures of some of these wood carvings in town and some of the more interesting buildings. That guy's head is lost in the bushes there. This is a nice sidewalk art. They got them all chained down. If you notice, they're all chained in place so they can't be too easily taken away, stolen. This looks like a prison right here, but actually it's a restaurant. Anyway, back on the road, heading toward Palmer City Hall. I found City Hall right away, but I had to drive around a lot to, well, actually that was the police station. I found that right away, and they said, well, this is it. I wanted to know where was Palmer, downtown Palmer, and they said, well, this is it. Well, it wasn't really it. I had to drive a few blocks and cross the railroad tracks before I finally found Palmer. Got a lot of pictures of the old train station in Palmer. Railroad depot. I noticed it's a museum now. I had to get a couple of pictures of the telegraph key. Probably didn't see it on the desk there, but being an operator, I kind of like the pictures of the key. And this was late in the day. That's outside Palmer, one of the rivers that's just about dried up right now. Sand and blue water. And then the next morning, it's 7 o'clock a.m., the sun coming up. Well, the sun probably been up for a while. And a few nice pictures before moving northeast out of Palmer. Going toward Valdez. Of course, I had to get to Matanuska Glacier first. It's coming up in another minute or so, I guess. But these are pictures between Palmer and the turnoff to Valdez. That's Matanuska Glacier. Not too far from Glen Allen. Got a little closer, got a little closer picture of it. They weren't the best pictures, but I had to leave them in there. Some snow melt, glacier melt, and some more graffiti on the side of the hill. And there's a Mount Wrangler active volcano back in there, one of those someplace along there, and then back on the road to Valdez. This is Glen Allen. Beautiful location. See you in part 3, folks. Thanks.